You know that feeling, the one you get when you're fully invested in a brand new anime, you're loving every second, you hit the final episode of the season, and you're met with the 3 most terrifying words in the weeb lexicon: to be continued. Cue the internal screaming, the desperate search for a release date, and the slow realization you might be waiting years for a conclusion. It's a special kind of pain. That's what we're here for. We're counting down the Hall of Famers, legends that are not only finished, but are flawless from start to finish. These are the top 10 best completed anime series of all time. So, if you're ready to trade cliffhanger anxiety for a satisfying conclusion, you're in the right place. Before we dive into the legends, do your future self a solid. Hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. Alright, no more waiting. Let's kick this off with number 10, Gurren Lagann. Okay, real talk. If you've ever felt like you needed a motivational speech so powerful it could shatter the heavens, Gurren Lagann is your Bible. This is the anime that looks at physics, logic, and common sense, and laughs while it punches a hole through them. Studio Gainax basically took the entire mecha genre, injected it with pure, uncut hype, and then set it on fire with the power of human will. We start underground, literally, with a boy named Simon who's shy and unassuming, and his larger-than-life brother figure, Camille, who has enough confidence for the entire human race. Their journey, to drill their way from their tiny subterranean village to the surface and then just keep going. And going until they're using galaxies as shurikens. I am not even kidding. The magic of Gurren Lagann isn't just in its scale, which gets so astronomically, incomprehensibly huge, you'll have to rewind to make sure you saw what you just saw. It's in its heart. This is a story about evolution, about believing in the you that believes in yourself. It's about legacy, grief, and moving forward even when the world seems determined to keep you down. The animation is a stylistic whirlwind, the soundtrack by Taku Iwasaki is an all-time banger, and the emotional payoff is, well, it's legendary. You will cry, you will cheer, you will stand up and yell, "Who the hell do you think I am?" at your screen. It's a guaranteed transformation sequence for your soul. Consider this your official drill to pierce the heavens of your watch list. 9. Fruits Basket, 2019. Now, let's do a complete 180 from galaxy-sized drills to something that will emotionally level you in an entirely different way. Fruits Basket. And I'm specifying the 2019 version because this isn't a remake, it's the definitive adaptation. This is the one that finally, after years of waiting, gave us the entire, complete story of the Soma family curse, and oh my god, the journey was worth every single tear. On the surface, it's about a wonderfully kind, if tragically orphaned, girl named Toru Honda, who ends up living with the mysterious Soma family. The catch: 13 members of the family are possessed by the animals of the Chinese zodiac, and they turn into their animal forms when they're weak, stressed, or hugged by someone of the opposite sex. It sounds like a wacky rom-com setup, right? Wrong. Fruits Basket is one of the most masterful deconstructions of trauma, abuse, and the cyclical nature of pain ever put to animation. It starts with a charming, almost silly facade, and then it slowly, methodically peels back the layers on each character, revealing depths of suffering and resilience that will absolutely shatter you. Toru isn't just a nice girl, she's a beacon of empathy whose own kindness is a coping mechanism for her deep-seated grief. The romance is slow burn and incredibly satisfying, but the true heart of the story is its message about the power of acceptance and love in the face of profound brokenness. It's a beautiful, cathartic, and complete emotional experience. 8. Steins Gate. Alright, time travelers and mad scientists, this one's for you. Steins Gate is a masterclass in narrative pacing. It starts so deceptively normal. We've got a self-proclaimed mad scientist Rintaro Okabe, who rents an apartment above a CRT TV shop in Akihabara and calls it his future gadget laboratory with his 2 nerdy friends. They accidentally invent a way to send emails to the past. It seems like a fun, quirky sci-fi comedy at first. They're eating cup noodles, making dumb inventions, and messing with time in what seems like harmless ways. But then, the show pulls the rug out from under you so hard, you'll feel it in your own world line. The first half is a slow, deliberate setup, laying down every single domino with meticulous care. The second half is watching them all fall in a devastating, heart-wrenching cascade. Steins Gate explores the consequences of time travel with a brutal, logical consistency. Every choice has a cost. Every saved life creates a new, often more terrible tragedy. Okabe's journey from a Chunobu goofball to a broken, determined man who has to make impossible choice after impossible choice is one of the most compelling character arcs in all of fiction. This isn't about flashy action. It's about psychological tension, paranoia, and the sheer, overwhelming weight of responsibility. The plot is a tightly wound clockwork mechanism. Every single tick matters, and by the end, you'll be in awe of how perfectly every single piece clicks into place. It is, without a doubt, a perfect sci-fi thriller. 7. Mob Psycho 100. From the mind of one, the same creative genius behind One Punch Man, comes Mob Psycho 100. And while it shares a comedic DNA with its sibling series, Mob Psycho carves out its own identity as one of the most heartfelt and profound stories about growing up ever made. The premise is simple. Shigeo Mob Kageyama is the most powerful psychic on the planet. He could level cities with a thought, but here's the twist. He doesn't care. He's a quiet, socially awkward middle schooler who just wants to impress his crush, get fit with the Body Improvement Club, and navigate the minefield of adolescence. He works part-time for a con artist psychic named Reigen, who, despite being a fraud, is ironically the one who gives Mob the best life advice. His powers don't make him special, and they have nothing to do with his value as a person. The genius of Mob Psycho 100 is how it uses its absolutely stunning, fluid, and creatively unhinged animation, courtesy of Studio Bones at the absolute top of their game, to explore themes of empathy, self-worth, and emotional maturity. The fights aren't about who's stronger, they're about clashing ideologies and emotional breakdowns. Mob's power is directly tied to his emotions, and watching his emotional meter fill up to 100% is always a spectacle. It's a beautiful, explosive, and deeply human story that argues that being a good person is a greater strength than any psychic ability. It's a complete journey of growth that will leave you feeling empowered and seen. 6. Monster. Now we're entering the psychological thriller Hall of Fame. Strap in, because Monster is a different beast entirely. The 74-episode epic is a slow-burn, atmospheric masterpiece that trades in superpowers and giant robots for pure, unnerving human evil. The story follows Dr. Kenzo Tenma, a brilliant Japanese neurosurgeon living in Germany. He's on the fast track to success, but a crisis of conscience leads him to save the life of a young boy who was shot in the head over saving the mayor. This single act of principle sets off a chain of events that ruins his life. The boy he saved, Johann Liebert, grows up to become a monster, a charismatic, intelligent, and utterly soulless serial killer who manipulates everyone around him into tragedy and death. The series is a sprawling cat-and-mouse chase across a reunifying Germany and Eastern Europe, but the mouse is actively hunting the cat while setting the entire world on fire. Monster is less about action and more about a deep philosophical exploration of good and evil. Tenma, a man who dedicates his life to saving people, is forced to confront the horrifying reality that the only way to stop the unimaginable suffering Johann causes might be to take a life, the very life he once saved. It's dense, it's intelligent, and it requires your full attention, but the payoff is one of the most chilling and thought-provoking narratives not just in anime, but in any medium. It is a true, complete, and utterly unforgettable epic. 5. Death Note. Speaking of psychological warfare, it doesn't get more iconic than Death Note. This is the anime that served as the gateway for an entire generation into more mature, complex storytelling. The premise is deceptively simple. A brilliant but bored high school student named Light Yagami finds a notebook dropped by a Shinigami, or death god. The rules are written inside. The human whose name is written in this note shall die. What follows is a breathtaking game of intellectual cat and mouse that redefines the thriller genre. Light, adopting the persona Kira, decides to use the power to rid the world of criminals and become the god of a new world. Standing in his way is the enigmatic, genius detective known only as L. Death Note is a masterclass in tension. The majority of its runtime is two super geniuses trying to outthink and outmaneuver each other from opposite sides of the globe, using logic, deception, and insane gambits that will have you on the edge of your seat. It's a show that forces you to question your own morality. Do you root for Kira's brand of ruthless justice, or for L's pursuit of order and law? The animation is stark and stylish, the voice acting is legendary, and the mind games are so intricate you'll need a flowchart to keep up. 4. Cowboy Bebop. You're gonna carry that weight. If you know, you know. Cowboy Bebop is less of an anime and more of a cultural artifact, a flawless fusion of film noir, westerns, and jazz cool that transcends the medium itself. Set in a gritty, lived-in solar system in 2071, it follows a ragtag crew of bounty hunters on the spaceship Bebop. The effortlessly cool and laid-back ex-syndicate hitman Spike Spiegel, the pragmatic and gruff ex-cop Jet Black, the enigmatic con woman Faye Valentine, the quirky hacker genius Ed, and a super-intelligent corgi named Ein. Each episode is largely a self-contained session as they chase bounties, but it's the slow, peeling back of the crew's tragic pasts that gives the series its profound emotional weight. Directed by the legendary Shinichiro Watanabe, Cowboy Bebop is a masterwork in style and substance. The soundtrack, composed by Yoko Kanno and performed by the Seatbelts, is a character in itself, a jazzy, bluesy, breathtaking score that perfectly complements every moment of action, comedy, and soul-crushing melancholy. The show isn't about the plot, it's about the characters. It's about people running from their past, lasts, only to find that no matter how far you travel into the vastness of space, your history is always waiting for you in the next port. The animation, for its time and even now, is stunningly cinematic. It's a complete story that understands its themes of loneliness, regret, and redemption so perfectly that its final moments and that final line are forever etched into the annals of fiction. It's a perfect session of 26 episodes. 3. Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion. What if you could command absolute obedience from anyone with just a look? Code Geass asks that question and then spirals into one of the most ambitious, dramatic, and brilliantly insane political thrillers ever conceived. The story is set in an alternate timeline where the Holy Britannian Empire has conquered Japan, now known as Area 11. Our protagonist, Lelouch v. Britannia, is an exiled prince who despises the Empire and its tyranny. He stumbles upon a mysterious girl named CC, who grants him the power of kings, the Geass specifically, the ability to force anyone to obey any command once. Using this power and his unparalleled strategic genius, he dons a mask and becomes Zero, the charismatic leader of a rebellion. Code Geass is a glorious, unapologetic roller coaster. It's a show that combines high school antics with complex geopolitical maneuvering, giant robot battles with Shakespearean drama. Lelouch is the ultimate chess master, playing a game against the entire world, and watching his labyrinthine plans unfold is a spectacle in itself. The show constantly raises the stakes, forcing Lelouch to make increasingly difficult and morally gray choices. Is he a hero, a villain, a martyr? The answer is a resounding yes. It's a story about the cost of revolution, the nature of justice, and the sacrifices required to change the world. And it all builds to what is arguably the most iconic, debated, and perfect ending in anime history. It's a conclusion that ties every single thread together with breathtaking audacity, cementing its place as a complete and timeless masterpiece. 2. Full Metal Alchemist, Brotherhood. If there was ever an anime that could be described as flawless by a massive consensus of the community, it's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. While the original 2003 series is a classic in its own right, Brotherhood is the definitive adaptation, following Hiromu Arakawa's manga from start to finish. This is the gold standard for shonen storytelling. The tale of brothers Edward and Alphonse Elric, who committed the ultimate alchemical taboo, human transmutation, in a failed attempt to bring their mother back from the dead, is a perfect blend of action, philosophy, and heart. Ed lost an arm and a leg, and Al lost his entire body, his soul bound to a suit of armor. Their quest to find the Philosopher's Stone to restore their bodies becomes a journey that uncovers a national conspiracy of epic proportions. The brilliance of Brotherhood lies in its impeccable world building and its profound exploration of equivalent exchange, the core law of alchemy. The world is rich, the rules are consistent, and the plot is a masterfully woven tapestry where every character, no matter how minor, has a role to play. The large cast is universally beloved, from the determined Elric brothers to the tragic homunculi and the strong-willed soldiers like Roy Mustang. The show balances intense, emotional moments with hilarious comedy and some of the most creative and thrilling fight sequences ever animated. It is, from its first frame to its last, a complete and perfectly told story. 1. Attack on Titan. And here we are, the #1 spot. The anime that didn't just dominate the conversation for a decade, it was the conversation. Attack on Titan is a monumental achievement in storytelling, a series that began as a gripping survival horror about humans fighting man-eating giants and evolved into a complex, morally ambiguous, and devastating geopolitical epic about the cycle of hatred, the nature of freedom, and the cost of survival. For 10 years, we followed Eren Yeager, Mikasa Ackerman, and Armin Arlert as they grew from terrified children into soldiers, leaders, and in Eren's case, something far more terrifying. What sets Attack on Titan apart is its relentless ambition. The world building is staggering in its scope and detail. The plot is a masterclass in foreshadowing, with mysteries seeded in the first episode paying off hundreds of episodes later in earth-shattering ways. The animation by Wit Studio and later MAPPA is consistently cinematic, with ODM gear sequences that are pure adrenaline and Titan battles that feel biblical in scale. The soundtrack by Hiroyuki Sawano is a character all its own, elevating every moment to legendary status. But at its core, Attack on Titan is a tragedy. It's the story of a boy who wanted to see the world outside the walls, only to find that the world outside was a mirror of the hell within. It forces the viewer and its characters to constantly reevaluate who the real enemy is. There are no easy answers, no clean victories. The final chapters are a whirlwind of heartbreak, confronting the horrifying consequences of Eren's genocidal path and asking if there could have ever been another way. It is brutal, unforgiving, and philosophically challenging. It's a story that will be analyzed, debated, and remembered for generations. It is a complete, unflinching, and monumental work that, for its sheer scale, narrative bravery, and emotional impact, earns its place at the top of the mountain. And that's the list. From drills piercing heavens to titans trampling the world, these are the completed series that have left an indelible mark. The beauty of these shows is that you can dive in right now and experience a full, satisfying story from start to finish. Let us know in the comments which of these is your favorite. And guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more anime deep dives. Until next time, keep your watch list stacked and your emotions ready. See ya.